set your project directory. Make sure it's set to a folder called PuppetMaster inside the Advanced Facial 2. Click OK. Let's go to File and load our PuppetMaster object that we just exported from the previous lesson. Go to Objects, load PM_head. Select the light, hit the minus key on the keypad, and delete its descendants as well. Let's hide the camera so all we can see in the scene is the head. So go into Setup. Let's pick a left view here, zoom in with the wheel mouse, and let's start dicing this up. We're going to use meta effectors to isolate the different sliced parts of our PuppetMaster object. Let's go to Tools, and underneath the pull down meta effector, add an effector to the scene. Multi-select the meta effector and the head to add the head to the meta effector draw weight list. Since that's the only meta effector, it's going to draw the weight, so add an effector field. Let's make this one pretty small, 0.01 meters, and set the field of influence to all connected. Now we make this little effector field intersect one of the points on one of the sections, and it will select the entire section. This will be the lower jaw. Let's duplicate that again to the second effector. Let's move this up to the lower cheek. Switch to a back view. Move it on X till it intersects one of the points. So now the lower cheeks are selected. Let's duplicate that again with the multiply key on the keyboard. Move this one up until it intersects one of the points on the upper cheek. Now it's time to control a gradient on this. So since this is the upper cheek, it's going to move the least amount. So we can set a value inside this effector that changes how it passes the weight back down. And there's two ways we can accomplish the same effect. One is strength. The strength is set so that if it's set to 1, it passes 100% of its value on to the effect that's deforming it. And if we drop that value down, then the value of course goes down for the effect. Or we can set the constant value, which sets the value as well, but the strength can adjust the constant value. We can set this constant value to 2, 3, 4, but right now it's set to 1 because that's the weight that usually goes out for a meta effector. Since this is the topmost one and we have 4 sections, the head, upper, lower cheek, and the jaw, these upper and lower cheeks are going to contain the weight, and the jaw is going to be 100% weighted to our effect. So the upper cheek is going to be set to 0.33, and that's going to change the weight. Let's go to the second effector. This is going to be changed to 0.66, and the jaw of course stays at 100%. So let's go to the head and let's add an effect to deform that. Let's pick the X-form effect, add that to the scene. Let's move that to just under the sideburns. This one's just going to be called jaw. Go to the X-form node, pick meta effector in the scene, leave it at static. Now let's go into animate. So now when we pick the jaw is going to move the jaw section 100%, the lower cheek 66, and then 33. So we get a smooth transition. So that's the standard way of using the PuppetMaster effect to control it. And it looks like we missed part of a zipper here, because if we go into setup, we have to mirror this other effector across. So just hit mirror. There we go. So now when we go back and animate, now he works correctly. So I'll set this PM_head to smoothen edges so you can see it better. And our jaw transform works just fine. Let's go to File and load our head on top of this model. Go into Setup. Let's take our head and add an effect to it, the PuppetMaster effect. And underneath the Cluster Create tab on the PuppetMaster effect, select our PM_head and then convert that to the cluster. So now back into Animate, grab our jaw. The PuppetMaster sections are controlling the original head, and the original head, wherever the 2 sections overlap, it weights the points 50% between those sections. If there were 3 overlapping sections, it would weight them 33% to each of the controlling PuppetMaster sections. So this is a really easy way to control PuppetMaster. So if you're not satisfied with this, we can go back into the modeler and split it a different way and test out the different ways of calculating the PuppetMaster effect. I'm going to change this to smoothen edges so you can see that it is a pretty smooth character, even though the PuppetMaster sections are pretty coarse looking. So we set those keyframes. Let's go to File and we'll save this scene into the Scenes folder. and just call this one PuppetMaster1.